Welcome to Hit the Road with Mo and Joy. We're friends that met in kindergarten and we love to travel. Now we're sharing our experiences and inspiring you to explore. Whether you're traveling by sea, in a train, flying high, or road tripping, it's time to hit the road with Mo and Joy. Hello and welcome to Hit the Road with Mo and Joy, Ireland Road Trip Edition. Today we're going to be talking about days 3 and 4. Hi Mo, how's it going?
Hi Joy, I'm excited to talk about days 3 and 4.
Yes, it was a wonderful time. And where all did we go on day 3?
Okay, so day 3, we woke up again in Lisburn in our lovely farmhouse. Went into Bushmill, and then we ended our day in Islandmagee.
Yes, we did.
Which was quite the time. I can't wait for us to kind of relive some of that. You know, one of the things that I really love about road trips and having the freedom of decision and making on-the-fly changes, we had initially planned to go out and have a breakfast this morning, if you look at our original itinerary. But considering the beautiful display that Miss Louise had left us at our Airbnb, we actually wound up staying in and enjoying the bread and the jam and something about that apple juice that we could never find in the grocery stores. Where was that apple juice from?
Every time I went downstairs, you were getting another piece of bread and spreading.
Rude. Why are you calling me out? Like, I was so excited to enjoy the bread and butter and it not bother me.
Right.
Like
right.
It does
and
here,
it not bother you.
Right. So, no, we kind of improvised and enjoyed the morning, but a funny thing was I have some pictures of you and I trying to wrestle and learn the unique way to utilize their washing machine.
Yes, and every washing machine we used was different, and everyone was a learning curve. And this one included a outdoor vent that had to open the window, had to drag this big long vent.
But it was very comical. I actually had kind of forgotten about it when we were preparing for this show. So I went back and reviewed some of my pictures, and I found the actual picture of the hose going out the window, and I just died laughing. The other thing to kind of laugh a little bit about was after we headed out that morning, Joy, that's the first time that we had our fill up the car with gas experience. Mm-hmm. That was also interesting.
First of all, where's the gas tank? Second of all, how do you get into the gas tank?
Right.
And then, okay, well, here's the pump, and well, how do you use that? Is that the one where it wasn't taking the credit card?
Yes.
Okay, and we had to go to the ATM, get local currency, and pay for it.
That's right.
So, again, you guys, be prepared. Have different methods of payment.
Right. Mm-hmm.
We were in Ireland, so at one point we were using euro. At the other point we were using pounds.
Yes.
Oh,
you almost got me there.
Right, I almost forgot. But yes, a little bit confusing. Need to have flexibility and need to have backup plans.
Right.
Always. So one of the things that we wanted to do was go to some of the Game of Thrones locations, right?
And why did we want to do that?
Because of Alex.
And he and even my sister had this big following for Game of Thrones. I myself did not care for it. Please don't send me any hate mails or comments.
You can have your opinion.
Yes, it was just a little bit much for me. But then again, I don't really watch TV, so I think I deserve a pass. But it was really important for me to mix in at least a couple of cool items just because we were near enough. Mm-hmm. I was sad that we actually didn't get to do one of the other filming locations just because it didn't line up with our easygoing morning. But Alex was still satisfied and good to go, so.
And as we were traveling, we actually saw like a sound studio, and we were too late to do any of the tours or anything, but I guess they have tours and stuff at the sound stages that you can go to for Game of Thrones if you're into that.
Yeah, I would say that scattered throughout, and I think further into the trip we wound up finding some stained glass windows or something that were also featured. I don't know, we'll have to catch up as we're going through the trip again, but definitely there's a lot to satisfy any Games of Thrones aficionados in Ireland. Okay, so after we filled up, we had a very easy ride, no scary roads, to the Giant's Causeway, which is located in Bushmills. Again, we have been now in Northern Ireland. Let's talk about the Giant's Causeway.
Yes.
This was a Games of Thrones filming location. Where did it get its name from? The local legend is an Irish giant named Finn McCool created a causeway to get across the Irish Sea to face his rival, the Scottish giant, and let's see how well I can do with this name, Benandonner. Following their fearsome meeting, the Scottish counterpart ripped up the causeway as he fled back to Scotland, leaving what you see here today. Finn McCool's giant boot also lies fossilized at the Giant's Causeway in the bay that locals refer to as Port Noffer or Bay of the Giant.
Pork Noffer?
Yes, I think so. Joy, I think it's probably important to also note that it is a natural nature reserve, and it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. If you don't want to walk all of it, there is a bus tour that's available. All of us walked it. Why don't you share your memories and thoughts of kind of the coastline?
This was one of my bucket list items, and it has been on my bucket list for years and years and years, so I'm really glad that we got to get there.
Awesome.
So that we could see it in person. It's like 40,000 interlocking basalt columns believed to have been formed by volcanic activity. And like you said, it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's also often referred to as the eighth wonder of the world due to its stunning natural beauty. And
I didn't know that.
it is beautiful and strange and cool, and there's all these honeycomb shaped basalt columns coming up out of the ground, and kids could climb on them. I didn't climb. Your son and Alex climbed on them a little bit.
Yep, they did. Of course they had to.
Okay, we'll wave to you from up here, from down here. But yeah, it's right there on the water, and it did not disappoint. And I want to go back and see it again.
It was really windy when we were there, so I would recommend having a windbreaker or something just in case. Definitely want good shoes to navigate this terrain. That would be a must. I'd also like to call out a couple of things just for convenience sake, Joy, and maybe if you think of something that I'm forgetting. I was really thankful that the parking was extremely easy to access. There was nothing complicated about it. There was not a separate parking fee that I can recall. And it was not a long hike from the parking lot to get up into the actual building. There's not tons of variety in Bushmill, I will say, in terms of eating choices. But if you're hungry, they do have a well-stocked cafe that the prices I noted were very reasonable inside the building. So a lot of times you can go to touristy places like this and they can kind of take advantage of tourists sometimes. They did not do that here. They had quite a good variety. They also, for those who like to shop or want to buy souvenirs, had a great selection and a price for every pocketbook, for sure. There's some sort of deal about people like shoving pennies inside the cracks.
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, I actually wound up finding a picture in my, million pictures for this trip where I was wondering, and as I was going back doing some notes for the show Joy, apparently they're having an issue trying to discourage people from doing that because it winds up leaving a little bit of mark on the natural site.
Right.
I don't know. I just remember the beautiful coast. There's lots of views. There were little patches of flowers. Again, very windy. Please bring a jacket and good, solid shoes.
But yes, definitely worth it. Definitely go there.
Agree.
So then we left there, and we had an event that night planned.
Did we?
You did. We went and forged knives in Islandmagee. Tell us about that, Mo.
Well, first of all, this was a experience that you found for us. Joy is always finding the interesting, unique things to do or see. And she, I think, especially did this to try and give Alex and Mikey something that they would enjoy.
Yes.
Which was very nice. It was a little bit interesting to find, but we really enjoyed our experience at Swift's Forge. You can find him out on Instagram. He's got a very interesting story. Aaron, I believe, is his name. And he also does some custom golf club work that is gaining a lot of interest.
Yes.
So very interesting guy, very easy to work with, and I would say he's a very good teacher. What do you say, Joy?
Absolutely. He was a good teacher.
I think that I would like to call out that making knives straight out of I'm not going to get any of the words right. So you get your piece of metal, right? And it's like all fired up in orange. And then you start I'm going to call it pounding process. That's definitely not the word. But I was not anticipating the level of physical work that was going to entail. We did get a break at one point. Well, actually, we got 2 breaks. So I remember one of the breaks, Alex and Mikey were very excited because they got to test out some of the golf clubs. And then also we wound up getting a very welcome snack. So more brown bread and butter and jam. And then each of us got a miniature Irish whiskey.
Yes, and it was from Bushmills where we had been earlier that day. So we got
right.
to taste the local fare.
That is right. Joy, we have some great pictures and a couple of videos for this experience. I do not know if Aaron still offers this or not, but it's definitely something worth looking into if he still does. And it was something that we'll probably never do again.
But we have our knives.
Well, not because it was a bad thing, but because we've now done this thing. But I'm telling you, like, the guys loved it. We loved it. It was honestly a group building experience.
And I just want to talk a minute about finding the experience, number one, and then booking it, and then having to chase it a little bit. So
Oh, yeah.
at first, we were booking our places to stay on Airbnb and Vrbo. And on Airbnb, they're offering experiences now which are interesting, and I recommend going and looking out at the local fair and seeing what they're offering, because there was some interesting stuff out there, like going on a fairy walk with a pig and, you know, just all these oddball things, but some stuff that would interest people.
Right.
And this was one of those activities that was on the experiences, and I went to book it and it wouldn't behave, and then I went to book it again and it wouldn't behave, and then it disappeared. And so I was irritated. So I reached out directly to the gentleman, and he said, "Oh, we'll go to Airbnb," and well, you can't. What I finally wound up doing was going to the Irish version of Airbnb somehow. I guess I must have Googled and figured it out, but I had to book it on that version of the website because the English version of it was blocking him or blocking his attempt to have this experience because maybe he wasn't approved or certified to offer it to the Americans or something, but something was all janked up with all that. So I say all that to say that if you're not finding it on the American version of Airbnb, do a little bit of extra looking around and reconnaissance, because you might be able to find it on a different version, which going into it, I didn't know there were multiple versions. .ie, .com, whatever, .uk maybe.
That is excellent advice, and I'm really glad that you called that out, because now that you say that, I remember us trying to wonder, did we get it? Then there was some of the messaging back and forth, and that it was worth it though.
Yes, it was definitely a unique experience, and like you said before, there was a lot of physical labor to it, and thank goodness he found pity on me and he helped me forge, and I'd bang, he'd bang, and we all banged. And
I loved the action shots and the expressions on your face. They were just priceless.
It was hard work. And Mo, I've got to give you a compliment here as well.
What did I do or not do?
You were flexible. So we get to the place after a 2-hour drive, and there are no convenience stores, and there are no grocery stores, and there are no restaurants on that drive, whatever road we were on. And you and I had to go to the ladies' room really bad. And so
should we tell
finally
the story?
get there. We finally get there, and the guy says, "Oh, there's no restrooms on site. We're remodeling, and no, you can't go in our house." And I almost cried. Because I'm like, I cannot hold it for 2 hours. So I was expecting Alex to get us in the car and go up to the local, and the fella said, "Oh, well, I've got a field out there, and you marched your butt into the field." And I thought, oh, wow. If Mo can do it, I can do it too.
Erin, don't hate us for this if you ever wind up, Oh, my goodness.
We love you, Erin. But we really had to go potty. But yes, we were both flexible that day.
We were.
And thank goodness I didn't go all over myself.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I feel like I've got to stop you there. Oh my gosh. Suffice to say though, it is an important reminder to be flexible, and if it's not worth getting worked up about, which sometimes I can be guilty of doing, you just kind of roll with it. And I feel like we were already kind of in the spirit of
adventure.
Adventure and just going with the flow.
Right.
And it just makes everything better.
Right. And
For sure.
You don't want to be the whiny person that...
Exactly.
Okay, we'll deal with our situation the best way we can,
Yep.
and we'll move on.
That's right. And that's what we did. So that was a very full day, day 3. And I think we're ready to move into day 4 now, which took us to Belfast and Londonderry, still continuing in the Northern Ireland vein. Day 4, Joy, we left our first Airbnb, so our farmhouse that we enjoyed so much. It was time to move on to the next location. And I was a little bit sad to leave the farmhouse. I'd kind of gotten into it and it was very relaxing. Oh, you know, something I forgot to mention when I was reading my notes. For those of you who are staying in things like a farmhouse or whatever that have some character and a little bit of history to them, it is important to note from a convenience perspective. A lot of these homes were not built for taller people. So I had seen in my notes, Joy, where Mikey, who's the tallest of our group, had already hit his head a couple of times on door frames. Keeping all of that in mind, being able to kind of physically navigate that is important depending upon where you're staying, right? Yes. We loaded up and we headed out, and we had all these ideas about Belfast. Remember us talking about it, and for whatever reason I had in my mind that it was like this, you know, kind of like big city or whatever, and I kept reading about all the different bars and the this and the that, and in my mind it was going to look like I do have to say though, and we talked a lot about that, Joy, if you'll remember, when we got there, I felt like not only did it look different than I had expected, but it had a certain feeling to it as well. And I think it kind of started with, so we had planned to go have just a light coffee and chai latte, and we chose established coffee because we knew later that day we were going for our boxty lunch experience, right? So we wanted to make sure that we weren't too full. Tell us a little bit about established coffee.
Established Coffee was a cool community coffee house. You had your chai tea latte. I think the rest of your family did.
We were all chai latte to your, coffee.
Normal latte. And it had a good camaraderie and it had a good community vibe.
For sure.
That it was just good for people watching. There were some people working in the area, and it was just a neat space and a good representation of Belfast.
I agree. Parking can tend to be a little challenging, and so it is very important that you are mindful and follow all the signs in the postings.
Yes.
We will mention that again, I think, in another very specific town. I can't think of it off the top of my head at the moment. If you're as lucky as we were to be warned by locals, do not take chances because you will get a ticket. And some towns are more notorious than others. So that would be a very strong warning as you are planning if you choose to have a car like we did.
Yes.
After that, Joy, we visited a cathedral. We went to the Belfast Cathedral. It was consecrated in 1776, so think about that history. It was very easy to find and beautiful to explore. It was, it had a definite peace. And I remember us taking some real time to, I think we kind of all split up individually and walked, and a few of us actually even sat down and had some quiet time.
It was so large and it was such beautiful architecture. Absolutely. And it had the columns and it had the stained glass in different areas. It had paintings. The floor work was gorgeous. They just did a fantastic job on that cathedral. I
agree. It's amazing all the numbers of historic churches and cathedrals. And I mean, we got to go to quite a few, I think, on this trip. But Joy, think about all the ones that we didn't go to.
Right.
There's so much to see, so much to do. And of course, the goal is to get a pretty well-rounded experience. So you can't do it all, right?
Right.
All right. I feel like once we left kind of the established coffee area, we moved more into the city, which felt more like what I was expecting. I personally loved the wide variety and the artistic curb appeal of so many of the shops. I remember a couple of the tea houses had like these gorgeous floral, elaborate displays, like over their door frames or whatever, all the colors. Let's talk about Holohands and us finally learning about the boxty.
Yes, and we studied about the boxty, but you don't understand the boxty until you have the boxty. I thought I understood what it was, and then I got it, and I was like, oh, this is delicious. So the boxty is a potato pancake, right?
Yes, but when you see it, it looks more like what we know of as a flour tortilla that you would make in a quesadilla. It's not thick. Like I've seen people make potato pancakes before, and it's more thick and small like a pancake. No, the shape of this guy and the height is more like what we would know of as a flour tortilla.
And even the texture of it.
For sure.
However they fry it or bake it or whatever.
Right.
Yes, that's a perfect way to put it, and I didn't think of it that way. I got the chicken and mushroom. Your husband got the beef, and I was so jealous of his beef boxty. I was like, I should have got the beef boxty. Here, Joy, do you want to try it? No, I don't want to try it. I want to have it.
And Mikey got seafood, right?
Mikey got seafood, yes. Which one did you get?
The same as you.
The
We were the boring ones.
Chicken and mushroom. It was
Yes.
good,
It was delicious.
but it wasn't the beef. Gosh, that beef was calling to me.
Yeah, I think I would say roll with the beef. If you're going to Holohands and getting the boxty, roll with the beef.
It was delicious, and it was a experience that I want to have again. We've got a local pub here that makes them. I haven't had it yet, but I think we should definitely go. Finn McCool's
Oh my gosh.
over on US 1.
We're hungry.
Oh,
Today.
let's go have a boxty.
Bam. Give me some. Excellent. Oh my gosh.
That's so funny.
Real time
Decision
realization.
making. Yes.
Awesome. Okay, tell them about the dessert.
We finally had sticky toffee pudding,
Ooh.
which I thought was going to be pudding,
No.
like we know.
No.
But what is pudding?
So sticky toffee pudding is definitely not pudding. It's more like a cakey type of situation, and it's kind of butterscotchy toffee vibe, usually served a la mode with, I think it's like a caramel toffee type of a sauce. So I'm just going to admit, I do have a little bit of reputation for being a foodie and a dessert snob.
A little bit.
Not gonna lie. And I will say, last year, it was completely accidental. Alex and I got to hit up Hell's Kitchen that had just had its soft opening in Miami.
Ah.
We hit it up at lunch. For dessert, I had my first ever sticky toffee pudding. I had no idea what to expect, but obviously Gordon Ramsay's kind of famous for it, and apparently the story is he uses his mom's original recipe.
Ah.
So honestly, I judge all sticky toffee puddings off of that standard, which may or may not be fair.
Right.
But I will say, I think we had 2 or 3 sticky toffee puddings on this trip throughout. Holohands, for me, had the best one.
I think so too.
Okay.
Even though I'm not a connoisseur as you are
Shout out.
to the sticky toffee puddings, that was my favorite.
Yeah, agree. We're going to tell everyone, if you are going to Belfast, please save a meal spot for Holohands. You do have the option of making online reservations for a date and a time, or you can take a chance. And I think lunchtime, which is when we went, you would have a much better opportunity of walking in. I don't know what the nighttime version looks like, but oh my gosh, the staff was just super fun. When they realized we were visiting, they were I just felt like they went above and beyond to give us a great time and experience.
Yes.
So we left Holohands feeling like we had just had a fantastic experience.
Yes, definitely.
So when we left there to go see the big fish, which was something I was really excited about because it was a weird, quirky thing, like we were walking out all like super full and happy.
Yes. So then we went to see that big fish. It is a big salmon, right?
Yes.
So it's 32 feet long, and it was commissioned in 1999 to celebrate the regeneration of the River Lagan and its historic importance of the site.
Yeah. It's got a really cool story, right? And we
Right.
wrote it up in the blog if you want to take a little bit more at it. I honestly picked it out for us to go look at just because I thought it was a really quirky landmark.
Yes.
I mean, I can't recall ever taking a picture on any trip with a ginormous fish.
Right.
And I didn't know it was a salmon until I looked up its facts.
History.
But I think the coolest thing about it was I wish that we would have taken that time and knew to even look for it. But you know how the scales were like the different colors of the whites and the blues?
Yes.
I didn't know until I was doing research for the blog that the scales are made up of ceramic tiles, and they describe different scenes that tell the history of Belfast.
Oh, I see that now. I'm looking at the picture of it, and I had noticed like the tones being different,
Right.
but I see pictures within the.
We missed that when we were physically there, and I'm kind of bummed.
Right. No, we were taking pictures and selfies in front.
We were being silly, and there were lines of people, and people wanted us to take pictures
it's
of
your
them.
turn.
And
Yeah.
people took pictures of us, and I think we just got really distracted. But Joy, they're right beside it. I mean, it was really nice and clean and paved walkways. There was a pedestrian walking bridge that
Yes.
you could walk over.
It was really
The
cool.
river to the other side, which we did do. So it was just a nice, little area.
Yep.
Highly recommended and definitely different.
Now, is that the same area that the Albert clock was in?
No, I think that was a little bit further down. If I remember correctly, I feel like there was that big mall that Mikey just wanted to kind of see, and yeah, there was a big 4-story mall
Yeah.
that we just kind of walked through because he was interested to see what type of stores there were compared to back home.
Yep. And there were a lot of the same.
There was a lot of the same, and then there were some differences. It was ginormous, being 4 stories, so we didn't really spend tons of time there because a mall's a mall's a mall. After that, we did some more walking, and Joy, we went to City Hall, and then we rounded out our experience at the Albert Clock. What do you remember of those two? Do you recommend them?
I remember the City Hall portion of it, and it was big and gorgeous. We walked into part of it. They
Right.
didn't have a lot of it open,
Right.
but very ornate, a lot of marble, a lot of history, and it was really cool to walk into.
Agree.
So yeah, I would recommend the hall,
Plus,
City
if you're
Hall.
into the picture taking, remember they had the ginormous letters that spelled out Belfast in the front lawn, and there were so many people like in line to take pictures and the this and the that. So that was actually kind of cool. I don't think I've ever been to a government building in all of my travels thus far that had a feature like that.
Oh, yeah.
So it kind of made it fun, especially for the younger people, I would say. Not that we're old, but it was just a different type of a feature.
Speak for yourself. We are not old.
That's what I meant. I was like, okay. Not that we're old. So, Albert Clock.
I don't remember Albert Clock too much.
Oh, okay.
Tell me what you remember.
Very, very, very tall. And I wanted to see it for historical purposes. And I think that we had almost talked ourselves out of going to it, and then I caught it out of the corner of my eye because, again, so tall. The thing about Albert Clock that I really enjoyed was the absolute historical nature and features. It was completed in 1869, so obviously started prior to. It's supposed to be one of the best known landmarks in the city of Belfast. It was built as a memorial to Queen Victoria's late husband, Prince Albert. For those of you...
Prince Albert. In a can. Okay.
Oh my gosh. No, you did not just go there. For those of you who really are into architecture and that type of thing, you are going to really enjoy going to take a good look at this clock. It's sandstone. It looks like it took about 4 years to complete. It's 113 feet tall. It's got a couple of different styles of architecture that it was built with or by. There's a 2-ton bell that is housed in the tower. And one of the things that I was a little bit interested to see, I mean, I have not been to France personally. Apparently, there is a reference to the Albert Clock being Belfast's own Leaning Tower. So yeah, that kind of rounded out our Belfast experience. We were kind of chill after that, and we wound up, when we were done, making the drive to Londonderry, which is still known for being a walled city. We didn't do a whole lot in Londonderry that night. We did, walk out and grab a little bit of dinner, but we were kind of worn out from the experiences, and we retired not too long after dinner.
Yeah, and I just want to talk about Belfast a little bit further before we wrap up today's episode. And you touched on it earlier, the feeling, or I would call it the vibe of the city, and it was not very touristy. It wasn't particularly friendly. It wasn't unfriendly. It felt like it just had a chip on its shoulder or something. And then when you go back and you learn about the history, and you learn about the wars, and you learn about the skirmishes and the problems with Ireland proper and Northern Ireland, and it deserves to have a chip on its shoulder.
Right.
But I had a little bit different expectation of it, and it was different being there with the people, and like I say, it's not overly touristy, so there's something good about that you can experience it the way that it was prior to tourism coming in and messing it all up. But just have that in mind when you go.
To add to that, and I actually have a picture of it. I don't know if you remember, but when we started out our morning at Established Coffee, just because of the way that particular road looked, it had the feel of having possibly had some war or something. There were still some, a lot of the buildings that were closed down, and like metal garage with spray painted graffiti. And as a matter of fact, I actually took a picture of, there was a war memorial storefront. Storefront's not the right word, but that's the word I'm going to use. When you walked up to the window, there were some personal mementos of pictures of people that had been impacted, someone's piece of luggage, someone's shoe.
Just sobering.
It was sobering. But you know what? It's real life, and real life isn't always pretty, no matter where you go or where you are. You know, there's always some form of history. Joy, I think you and I actually commented to each other that day that you could almost sense the feeling, right? Yeah, that was unexpected. And, you know, you made me think of one other thing. And, you know, you try to walk this fine line of being authentic and, you know, sharing helpful information to your listeners, but never with the intent of being disrespectful. But I will tell you one of the tips that we did receive. So when you're in Belfast, more in the city part, there are these interesting looking black cabs, and they look like these old timey, I don't even know how to describe it, like English vehicles or whatever they are. They're kind of cool looking, but we were told by a couple of different people, do not, you know, get taken in with them and their rates. They're very high, and there's been a couple complaints. So I grabbed a picture of one of those black taxis with us having our own vehicle because we were road tripping. You know, we did not need any type of public transportation. But since that was a tip that was given to us, I'm passing it along before we wrap up this segment.
Yes, and I have a tip for everybody. Always bring your own tissues.
Yes, that can definitely be a thing.
All right. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Mo, I will see you at Finn McCool's in an hour.
Word. I'm starving.
All right. Bye, guys. Thanks again.
See ya.
Thanks for tuning in to Hit the Road with Mo and Joy. If you have questions or topic suggestions, we would love to hear from you. You can connect with us through our website at hittheroadwithmoandjoy.com. On the website, you'll find all the things: socials, blogs, recommendations, inspiration, and things you might need to know for upcoming travel. And if you'd like to partner or advertise with us and connect with our amazing audience across the country, feel free to reach out to us at hittheroadwithmoandjoy.com/media. That's it from us this week, but don't forget, get out there and explore.